those little spots.
Yeah.
Food wasn't the only thing that was delicious in there, okay? Might have to spin back, okay?
It's like he has personal beef with GPS. So he goes this way, makes a turn. He's like, damn, I shouldn't have turned here, because now it makes us go back around because it's a one-way. And I'm like, Dad, this is why we follow the GPS. No, you don't have to follow the GPS. I'm like, why are you allergic to the GPS? He's like, I'm not allergic, but you only follow the GPS to a certain extent. If you know where you're going, then I was like, but you don't. You just made a turn you weren't supposed to make. We're going in a circle now.
Remedial college classes is the fucking worst. Okay? It's like being in 5th grade but in college, okay? And then there's that's all types of ages. I was in there with 40-year-olds. Mind you, I'm 17. I'm in there with 40-year-olds. One was like 61. And was really struggling. And I'm like, I don't belong here. What's crazy? It's niggas think this is a skit. And it's not.
Yo.
How you doing?
Did not realize my camera went off.
It'd be like that sometimes. It'd be like that. How's everyone's week? What you got cooking?
Ooh, I remember.
I'm gonna let someone else go first this time.
Gucci,
What's
did you go to
cooking?
that concert yet?
No, the concert is tomorrow. What I did was scramble to get some last minute hits because half of my stuff is still stuck in Hong Kong because I don't care about us like that. And I was like kind of like annoyed putting it together yesterday. I was like, oh, this ain't gonna work. This is not what I wanted, blah, 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 blah. But I took some pictures yesterday and I was like, okay, I did that. It's a last minute thing. I did that. Okay, so I'm happy about that. Other than that, my week has been hellish, but it's work, and I'm like, work is whatever. I don't care if work is crazy right now. I'm not letting it steal my joy. I will say, I will preface the craziness that happened last week. I'm chalking that up. Me and my pothead friends had deduced that it has to do with the fact that I haven't smoked weed in almost a month. Yesterday, I parked my car for like 10 minutes and then I couldn't remember where I parked it, so I walked around for a good 20-25 minutes. I am deducing that this is because my brain chemistry is like, what's going on? I've spent a good chunk of my life, my 20s, processing memory while smoking weed, and now I just did a 180 and my brain is like, no, this is not gonna work. I know it's not pure science, but somebody give me somebody to do the research in there. I'm convinced it has the short-term memory has to do with not smoking weed. I know y'all are making some faces, but I'm telling y'all,
because I'm just like, that's interesting. That you're
like maybe a weird withdrawal thing. I don't know.
I'm smirking because I look high as hell right now, and I'm not. I just.
Interesting. I'm trying to, where your memory would be more negatively impacted with the removal of, as opposed to an improvement.
I see it as like it's probably just very temporary, and it's my brain having to recalibrate because it doesn't have to consider almost like a withdrawal thing. That's what I'm chalking it up to. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm keeping tabs on this.
Well, now I'm curious to know, would you go back to?
Yeah, I haven't like given up smoking. Oh, you mean for the sake of keeping my memory?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lose-lose situation because eventually the memory is gonna be smoked away. Might take 20 years, might take 50, I don't know, but eventually everybody loses their job.
Eventually it's gonna go.
It's gonna go.
Fair point. It is interesting. I'm gonna look into that my damn self because that's curious. I had texted Jax over the weekend because I ended up in a diner that I don't normally frequent, fighting for my life because it was like, I don't want to say Republican hell, but to give you a little taste of what I was listening to, I walked in, there were 3 older gentlemen. They had to be like 50s, 60s. And literally, as they were talking about how much they loved Texas for the right to bear arms, one of them was like, you know, because you could just walk around carrying and no one bothers you. You can shoot whomever, you know, so long as you have a reason to do so. And the other one responded with, that's fine. Just keep a bunch of knives around and then just put the knife in their hand, get their fingerprints, and then you're good to go. And that's what I was around on this particular day. And they also brought up weed because they were like, how come you can't drive drunk but you can drive with like weed in your system? Like it's the same thing. It's a drug. Like you. And I'm like, no, it's not the same thing. It doesn't impact you in the same way. It can excite you. You can have a bad trip, but for the most part, from what I have seen, it has a relaxing effect, not inebriated effect, is what I'll say. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think it's legal to drive with that shit anyways.
Well, he was saying like there is no breathalyzer for weed. So like unless you smell it, unless you see it, someone could very well have THC in their system and you would never know. You can't test for it. So he was like, why can't we just pull you over and just be like, you're driving drunk? And I'm like, that was his supposition. And I'm like, he's like, it's the worst thing we ever did was legalize it. Because, like, if you need it for medicine, fine, but why do you need to do it recreational? And I'm just like...
I love how he's saying that when it's mostly white people benefiting from it being legalized. I love how he's saying that, like, we're the ones benefiting from that.
And I was the only one my color in there, so I wasn't about to say any damn thing. But yeah, that's essentially what they were getting at. Because the conversation was very much like, you know, the world has changed. Like, America's changed. We just need to blow up everybody like we did before. And I'm just like, I need to go. I need to get my bacon, egg, and cheese, soap, opera, ketchup, and go. Like, but the waitress there was very kind, and the cook there was very kind. He even came around the counter and was like talking to me. Apparently his first language was French, so he was like enamored with my name. Spoke to me initially in French before I did the double blink, and he realized I didn't speak French. So their company was pleasant, but the other people, it was just... Then the other guy wanted to get into it with me about like, why do you put money into your classroom? Like, so what that the kids don't have a pencil? So what? That's not your problem. Okay. All right. And I tried to explain, like I tried to do my due diligence of like, okay, sir, so let's say you get a job and you go to this job and you don't have the tools to do your job. What are you going to do? I'm going to get a new job. A child can't do that. They don't have that. Yeah, but it's not your problem. You're right. However, a 14-year-old's biggest concern should be, do I want chicken nuggets or pizza for lunch? Like, that should be the only thing they're stressing about. What are my options for life? Like, that's the only thing. They shouldn't be stressed about, like, I don't have a pencil. I don't have a note. Like, if I could take that away because I have the ability to do so, I'm going to take it away. Like, because that shouldn't be the thing that you're stressing about. You know what I mean? But they have families. Right. Which means if they're showing up without it, it's because their families ain't got it. Like the fuck? Like, woo! The math was not mathing.
He was giving Columbus. It was giving the individualistic American person.
So after leaving that stressful conversation, I went to my mechanic, and my routine oil change turned into a $600 fucking brake replacement. My day just got better and better. It just got better and better. Yeah. So because I ended up spending so much to replace like the parts, like the brakes and all that stuff, he was like, I'm gonna do your oil change for free. And then when he noticed that my lights were out, he was like, I'm gonna change those for free too. Happy birthday. He was like, I feel like I do this to you every year. I'm so sorry. I'm like, at least this once a year, bro. At least. So, shout out to my mechanic for trying to give me a break where he can. Cause baby, I was like, I'm wondering why my car shakes when I hit 60. He was like, yeah, couple pieces, a little. But he took good care of me. And then I spent some time with my lovely sister walking along the water and fighting those nasty ass bugs.
Yo, we got jumped by a fly. We did. Picked us out his spot. Quick.
No.
He's like, I see y'all. Y'all the wrong complexion. Get out.
And this bumblebee was not having it. This bumblebee was like, you're a little too close. So we was like, we'll move over. He was like, not far enough.
Get out. Begin. It's like tennis court.
She took me to this little spot. Food wasn't the only thing that was delicious in there, okay? Might have to spin back, okay?
A couple of things.
For a couple pieces, okay? I was like, all right.
We did good with the Korean barbecue. We didn't waste as much food. There was a second there I thought we wouldn't be able to finish but we did. The chicken was a little slimy though.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. It felt like, yeah.
Right? Okay.
A new place? A new place? Someplace I went before.
I've been there before, but
It's my
it's
But it was good.
I think I still need another year before going to Korean barbecue. After the birthday. Shenanigans. Good lord. There's a point where like eating all you can eat just turns from like fun to Bruce and Matilda having to finish that damn chocolate cake. That's what that felt like.
Oh. I felt it. I felt that 1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah.
I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this week was okay, your usual annoyances with coworkers. We're gonna skip over that. So I had a MixieLix event yesterday, and congratulations to me for planning accordingly. Cause some shit. Okay, first of all, Dad was supposed to show up with the small car so I could practice driving ever since the incident, so I can get behind the wheel again. Now the car has a brake issue similar to Tony's, Nerds, because some people have been driving the car like they ain't got no sense, and they never pay their stuff. So I told Dad a while back, like, yo, you gotta, if you want them to pay, you can't cave every time and just pay it. So he decided he's gonna stop driving that car so that he's not tempted to pay it. So I had to respect it, but I was annoyed because I'm like, I can't drive your Mercedes-Benz big ass van. So this doesn't help me, but I respect what you're doing, so I gotta let that rock. Fine. Now I know my dad's perpetually late, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna give him 4 hours of gap time. So 2 hours to get to me, even though he's 30 minutes away. and then 2 hours to drive because traffic, or he decides to take his infamous detours that don't detour the goddamn thing. And, we'll see. Now, surprisingly, there was no traffic. None. At all. And I had to go to Brooklyn. And somehow, still, he ended up using the entire 4-hour gap. Because called him at 3:45, like, hey, Dad, you got to be here by 4:30. Man shows up at 5:40. Get in his car. He wants to put the address into his Mercedes-Benz. The address in the GPS is not GPSing. It's like, I don't know what this is. And I'm like, all right, I got it in my phone. Let's go. He's like, no, we can figure it out. Dad, we are late. Move the damn car. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. Just keep it moving. So we're going. We get into Manhattan. This man swears he knows every Manhattan back road in the world. So the GPS says go this way. He's like, nah, I'm not going that way. He mad aggressive with it too. It's like he has personal beef with GPS. He's like, nah, I'm not going that way. He's gonna lead me this way. Fuck all of that. So he goes this way, makes a turn. He's like, damn, I shouldn't have turned here, because now it makes us go back around because it's a one-way. And I'm like, Dad, this is why we follow the GPS. No, you don't have to follow the GPS. I'm like, why are you allergic to the GPS? He's like, I'm not allergic, but you only follow the GPS to a certain extent. If you know where you're going, then I was like, but you don't. You just made a turn you weren't supposed to make. We're going in a circle now. And it just added an extra 10 minutes to our ride. You don't. What you are remembering was 20 years ago. Things change.
Facts, because whoever is doing the city planning in Manhattan is the devil. But continue.
So we take forever, and I'm like, all right, fine. Once we get out of Manhattan, maybe he'll follow the GPS, because he doesn't know Brooklyn. He said it out his own mouth. He don't know Brooklyn like that. All right, fine. We get to Brooklyn. This man says, oh, I remember this when I first got here when I was an immigrant. And I'm like, fuck, now he's going to do his shortcuts here too. And you know Brooklyn, it's winding. You got to turn around this corner, this street. This man swear he knows where he's going in this big ass van. So now it's like we're fucking Dora the Explorer, and I'm telling him to go left. He wants to go right, and I'm like, Dad, I really don't want to yell at you today. I really don't. Okay, can we just follow the route? So we get there. Finally get there. I get there at 7:10. Keep in mind, I gave him a 4-hour gap. Still got there only at 7:10. Fine. I get to the event. I make it work. It's great. This man, I tell him, come back at 11:30. He calls me at 10:30. I'm here. And then he's texting me, please call me. And I'm like, Dad, I'm in the middle of a job with loud music playing. Me calling you is not going to work because I'm not going to hear you. You're not going to hear me. I'm going to go back to what I was doing. I text him that. Doing what I'm doing. I'm like, all right, I'm cleaning up. He calls me. Again, I told him 11:30. He calls me at 11:10. Hey! And I'm like, what? He's like, I'm here. Yes, I saw your text, Dad. I know you're here. I'm packing up. Okay, you got like 16 minutes. Sir, I don't need you to rush me, okay? I will step out when I'm done. I can't really clean if you're calling me, okay? So I hang up. I do what I gotta do, clean up, go out. Now we in the car to leave. This man is like, oh my God, when I was first coming here, I took the train. And now he starts on a whole story of how he just got to this country. And I'm like, Dad, I love you. I do. But I am dead to the world right now. I'm not processing a single word you're saying. So if this is a story you care for me to know, I need you to stop talking right now, because I'm not processing a goddamn word. I have not eaten all day. I have been making the Douce drinks for a bunch of alcoholics. I'm gonna need you to pause on this right now. Okay? Pause. Zip it. It took us 2 hours to get home. There was no traffic. It was 2 hours of his shortcuts.
Nah.
His shortcuts. Him fighting me fighting him. Of course he took a turn, and then all the cones blocked it, and he's like, oh, why they blocked it? Fuck this thing. I was like, that's GPS. Yes, GPS is working with 2023 information. Your brain is working with 1954 information. It's not the same thing.
Calvert, do you think this is like Loki his way of being like, ooh, I'm getting some daddy-daughter time in?
No, because all he's doing is cursing about the roads. He ain't talking to me about shit about how he's just cursing the roads and the fact that they've changed. See, that's it. So we finally get home. He needs water, so I bring him upstairs to get water, and then he's just chilling there. And he's like, just decompress. I can't. You're in my house. Like, I don't know about you, but I can't decompress when people are in my house. I decompress in solitude. You need to not be here for me to do that. So I'm just gonna be here standing over you until you're done drinking the water and get up and leave. Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. So I gotta do that again today because I have another event today. So, and I've planned accordingly again because you're not gonna stress me out because you're perpetually late. So my event starts at 5. He will be here when this podcast ends. Or not, but I still accounted for it. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. In other news, classes have started. I like one of my classes. My other class, apparently the teacher tests on things that she doesn't teach you. She'll teach you a bunch of things and then she'll test on something completely different. I'm gonna put it with God. And that's all I got to say. Hey, Dex?
My week was chill. I went to work one day, and then I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me I had to chill. And I said, all right, we shall chill. Yesterday, I took my sister out to celebrate her getting a new job, so
Yay for the new goal.
that was nice.
Where's the new job?
She's gonna be a choreographer for. Yep. That's as much as I got for you. No, she got a job at a production house. Hold on, I gotta read the text again, but yeah, she'll be choreographing at this production house.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
New job,
And
new
the-
house. All right, she living.
She is the lady that owns it used to be a dance teacher for the DOE, so she opened up her own studio and stuff like that.
That's
So
dope.
I was like, move. Let's get it.
Love to see you.
What else did I do this week? Oh, we went to go see my sister's new apartment. I'm putting it in the air that she got it because all the work that we had to put in to get this far, like, it's hers. I mean, she's gonna be living in like the dirty, but the building is really nice. The building in that borough is
Brooklyn
really.
talking smack about the Bronx.
I'm sick of this slander.
Wow. Crazy. I mean, the building is really nice. Like, but it's like, it's in that borough. Ooh. So,
The borough with the best parks, technically. I just want to add. What?
It's still dirty. I want you to go to 149th and tell me that they have the best parks. Be smiling there, dance, take pictures, show everyone the parks from that street. Just that one. They don't get to see no other part of the Bronx. It's right there. But yeah, so it was really nice. Yeah. I don't have anything exciting to add.
I saw you take those sneakers back. Those.
Oh
cream-
my God, Jesus! Let me tell you, the camera did not do it justice. Like, y'all do not understand. So on the app, the colorway says brown, right? So it's just a shade of brown.
Okay.
So on the app, because I was like, okay, maybe it's my privacy screen protector. Maybe that's why I thought the colors was a certain color. I opened that shit on my bright ass Samsung. That shit was tan, cream, gray. Amongst those colors. In real life, that shit looks powdered blue. And then I tried to like capture it in the camera, and the camera was not doing what needed to be done. But everyone that I showed in person was like, nah, this is not even. It's not even. And so when I went to the Nike store in Soho, that store is fucking massive, by the way. I haven't been to Soho since the Nike store was closer to Chinatown. Like it was and it was much smaller and it was narrow. Anyways, that's how I'm like a sneakerhead. Should be moving. I went in there, I'm standing online, and then like a guy comes that works there, and he's like, "Oh, what are you online for?" I'm like, "Clearly the fucking rotating sign says returns. What else am I standing here for?" So I'm like, "Oh, I'm returning these sneakers I just got." So, yo, it really be draining me when niggas ask dumbass questions like, "You work here, you know what this section is for." Like I'm like, they just came, like they literally came yesterday. I ordered them, I think Thursday or something like that, maybe Friday, and they came Sunday. And I was excited. I opened them. I'm like, bitch, these look just like the shoes that I literally just bought. And it was like a dunk pack where it was like a fishing, whatever. It was like a fishing situation. So like it has that teal, that blue that it looks like, and then the swoosh has like fish scales on it. So I'm like, I already have this fucking color. Like, why would y'all show something brown? And that's why I was like, whoever is the photographer for this shoe needs to be put on probation. Because why would you put that lighting knowing damn well it don't look like the name of the color? Anyways, so when I gave it to the guy, he was like, you're like the third or fourth person today that came and returned these shoes. I'm like, bro, do these not look blue? Do these not look like the colorway says brown? And the reason why I was so tight is because it was a pair of Jordan 3s that came out that had the same colorway name. So I'm like, okay, I'm expecting one of these shades of brown to be on this shoe. No. So yeah, I got my money back. I took a $50 cab to return the shoes, but I had to get to the city either way.
50.
I was going to the city anyway, so I was like, I might as well. Two birds.
And then she be like, she broke.
You were just done
broke.
with the NCA.
I'm broke because I prefer convenience. Okay. I would be wealthy if I got on the train.
You are wealthy.
I took the train back, and then I took a cab home from the train station. But the point is, I didn't pay another $50 to get home. You know what I'm saying? And the bus was another 30 minutes away. Like, what I look like? A pedestrian. But yeah, so that was my week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pedestrian, ghetto.
Yeah, I want to grow up and be just like you.
I want to be like me too. So I've added a third car option so I could get a used car. I mean, I really don't want to sway from my Corolla because that bitch is a tank. But
why don't you use Kite?
When I use what?
Kite. It's a program that allows you to do monthly rentals of a car for like $500-$600 a month, which is essentially what you would be paying a month for a new car.
I ain't never heard of that, so I would do that because the rentals for me.
Did you say $500 or $600?
Right, that's amazing because I paid $900 for 3 weeks.
And they deliver your car to you, and they pick it up at the end of the month.
That sounds like a scam.
Rentals.
Who they stealing? Who they stealing from?
What is this?
Because I know the face that nerd is making right now for rental.
I mean, the level changes. It differs by brand of car. So I'm talking about like economic compact car, $500-$600 a month. It includes the insurance, everything. You don't have to get anything additional, and then they drop the car off.
Send me that link. I feel like it's a scam, but
I mean, is this a rental or to own the car? I got questions.
It's a rental.
It's short-term
500
rental.
to 600 a month.
Yes, if you do like a
That
3
is cheap.
rental,
Yes.
$5 a month.
So, I guess by comparison to rentals, but honestly, can I just say like what I've always been taught is like your first car might as well be a used car anyway, as opposed to buying outright brand new.
Unless your name is Jax.
Unless your name is Jax, but
Oh my God, I'm not buying it brand new. It's my point is, you see, Nerd is trying to make me seem like I'm balling out of control.
I didn't say
I've looked
anything.
at like for me, if I'm gonna get a used car, I'm going to use it for like 5 years to make it have had it for a 10-year of ownership. So the furthest I'm looking to go back is 2015, because 25 is right there, right around the corner. Like
25.
and Corollas and Hondas, because she keeps saying Hondas, like Hondas is cheap. Like I don't understand. Either one,
cheap.
for the price of a used version, is literally $2,000 to $3,000 less than a brand new one. So why would I get a used one? That doesn't make sense. 20 grand for a used 2018 with 85,000 miles, or a brand new one for 23K. Like to me, it doesn't make sense.
What I told her a couple months ago was my sister had a used. I think it was. She told me it was.
She said a Nissan.
You said it was, but it was used. It only had like 70,000 miles on it, and it was like $12,000, and it was fully loaded, and you ain't want it
because Nissan's transmissions are notoriously bad. Like
okay, hold on. You still,
oh my God,
you get like a good 10 years before there's an issue with the transmission. I'm not knocking that. I'm not. But it's not like I'm not saying a Nissan isn't good. I asked my brother's dad, because he's a car guy, and I'm like, listen, this is the thing, and he was like, well, you just better be prepared, because that transmission may go out, and it's over. Come on, it is a Japanese brand. You have to wear that thing out. Seriously.
Well, we've seen that aluminum foil when it gets hit. So I don't think I want one of those. I'm just saying.
And we sit.
Listen, the Corolla survived. That shit looked like a tin can getting ran over by an 18-wheeler. Okay, so Japanese are not. The Japanese that make the Toyotas is using something better than aluminum foil. I'm just saying.
Oh, that was disrespectful.
That was very disrespectful.
That was real disrespectful. Well, whatever. No regrets. No regrets with that one.
No regrets.
I'm not saying there's
anything. Maybe a few. So what's your third option?
A Hyundai, the Sonata, or the Elantra.
Not the Elantra. Don't do that.
Not the Elantra. Why not? Why not the Elantra?
There's reports of steering problems and brake problems with the Elantra. Don't do it.
Jesus will really take the wheel.
That's like the 20. I think it was 2012 or 2009 Toyotas where the brakes just didn't work. Like 3 people died. Yeah,
That's
it was crazy. They recalled the whole line. Like it was bad.
That's insane.
Jeez.
That's wild.
I'm still stuck on that aluminum foil. That was.
Yo, did you not see the pictures?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna send you the pictures. Then you go see what I'm talking about. It's aluminum foil.
It's the end. Okay, but come on, that's like almost every new car nowadays.
I don't think that. Maybe it was a new car because it was a rental. Most rentals are fairly new.
The material is just getting worse and worse. Like the quality of the material.
Listen, Calma came back safe and sound. Okay, the damage was nowhere near that. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, yeah, that Nissan did look wrecked.
Yo, he looked. Thank
That's
you.
Not funny.
Because when I tell you, when Calvin came back, I was like, oh, where's the damage? Because again, I seen it from the right side. So I'm like, oh, okay, we looking good. I turned to the left. I'm like, that's it. I was like, well, what did they look like? Girl,
She showed
I'm
us,
glad-
and I was like,
all I gotta
oh.
say is I'm glad they was able to walk away. Cause
I'm cracking up because you know that little dent that I have in the back of my Nissan? And I'm gonna send y'all the picture. I have a picture. I was in Philly and I pulled up behind 2 silver Nissans that had the exact same dent in the exact same place.
That's your badge of honor. You gotta send that to us, love. We can't see that.
oh yeah, let me put in the GC because
It might have just been that particular incident. You know?
my thing is it wasn't that much force from Calba's point. Because if you look at the street, it wasn't like it was a speed. It was literally I'm gingerly turning. And you
He
just
said gingerly.
was there.
Bro.
And you appeared. All right, she put it in the group chat. Look at it. Look at the aluminum foil. Oh, and I'm gonna send you the Toyota. I'm gonna put the Toyota in here. You're gonna be like, oh, okay. Toyota. Toyota living life right.
Yo. Not Toyota. Listen.
Let me tell you,
That's terrible.
all I gotta say is Kia, count your days. Count your days. You are robbing people blind.
Count your days not wild. Right, Elliot? Show me what. She like, yes,
Kia
sure.
is robbing people blind.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why the fuck don't I have the? I know I took a picture of it. Oh, here it is.
A lot. She's like, let me get it from every angle.
And that's all that happened to us.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, when you do the side by side.
Right, you see the side by side. Okay. I told you he was good.
Opening a sardine can or a tuna can.
Yo, for real.
Yeah.
With a knife.
That shit crazy. Him said with a knife. That's wild.
Well,
Well,
My last defense, it was the side. Maybe it was because it's
Oh my god.
I can't.
that's not a really good defense. But whatever.
yeah. But after all of that, they had Ajax regretting Brent severely.
Child.
We haven't heard any news, but the regret is real. Speaking of regret, let's move on to today's topic. After all of these
Real
shenanigans.
smooth.
Side versus bumper. That's it. Sorry.
What?
That's my last side versus bumper. That's not fair.
Okay.
All right, sorry. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Oh,
Let's move on.
a minute.
Not gonna let it. Okay. Today is about regrets or regrets. If you don't know what that is referencing, you are too young for this channel. Just putting that out there.
Big
So,
time.
but regrets. Do we have any in life? What are they? Do we feel like still knowing the information we know and having lived some of the good parts of our lives that we have, would we go back if we had the opportunity to fix those regrets, or would we let them rock because of where we are right now? I'm to you, Ajax, because we can't see your face.
I'm dead. I didn't even realize my face wasn't
I
on.
thought that
Nobody
was
said that.
intentional. I wasn't gonna say
Whole
shit.
time?
That's crazy.
I thought it was intentional.
The fastest no Ajax is hit.
I thought you was covering it on purpose.
Envision what I look like based on the sound of my voice. I don't know if I would say this is a regret. Maybe it is a regret. But I really wish I actually went away to college. Like, when I went to visit my sister and go see her performances and stuff like that, I think it was like her first year because she did dorm, and her roommate was like crazy. That shit was so funny. But like the experience, like every time I went up there every year, I'm like, yo, this shit would have been so dope. Cause like I legit made no college friends. Because in CUNY, you really there to get your shit and go. Like, even if we on the same project, like I really don't want to be your friend. I just want to get an A and move on. Like, and then like she did so many like clubs and shit. I'm like, damn. And what's crazy is I originally was supposed to go away. I was supposed to go to SUNY Alfred State. Yeah, that's what it's called. It was a tech SUNY somewhere up there in the middle of New York. And I got to know my roommate. We became friends on Facebook. We was, messaging, getting to know each other before we moved in. And clearly I never went. But yeah, and then like when we moved my brother in, granted, COVID happened, so he hasn't been back in college because he's a grown ass man and he can make his own decisions. But when we first moved him in, and like I would talk to him almost every other day, and he was telling me the stuff that was going on college campus. And he went to college in the South, so it's more black people, and I'm like, damn, I really wish I was around more black people. Now, granted, I went to City Tech, and literally it was half black people, half Middle Eastern, because I'm not sure what they identified as, so I'm gonna just blanket that. So I was around, a mixed bag of people, but it would have been nice to actually go away to college. And actually, it's crazy. I got into all the colleges I wanted to go to, and I settled on the SUNY one and didn't go. Like, because I wanted to go to New Haven. It was in Connecticut. I got in. I was waitlisted. Then I got in. I submitted everything, and then I was like, bitch, I don't want to pay $40,000 a year. I'm going to be paying that shit back for the rest of my life. Fuck this. Then I got waitlisted for Yale, and then I was like, wow, I really got waitlisted. That's crazy. And then I ended up going to City Tech, and I was so mad because I was like, I am too smart to be at a CUNY. Again, I now have 2 degrees from a CUNY, so that's neither here nor there. But at the time, I was like, yo, a bitch really got into Ivy, and I'm like, it was just like, I was really like self-sabotaging. And I was so upset that I just was like half-assed going to school. And my first year, my GPA was, I remember it to this day, a 0.41 something. 0.19.
Point? Like there was no number in front of the point?
It was the 0.419. And I was tight because I had to take remedial English. Mind you, I took AP English in high school. And the only reason why I had to take remedial English is because you know how you have to take the exams for CUNY to see where you're going to be placed? I was already set on going to another college that I was set. I didn't have to take remedial. So I just bullshitted the test, and I forgot. I only took the English Regents once, and I fell asleep on the second half. So I only got a 72 or 73. So, I was just, over it. I was done. And then, people don't understand. Those remedial college classes is the fucking worst. Okay? It's like being in 5th grade, but in college, okay? And then there's niggas that's all types of ages. I was in there with 40-year-olds. Mind you, I'm 17. I'm in there with 40-year-olds. One nigga was 61. And niggas was really struggling. And I'm like, I don't belong here. Mind you, I failed the remedial class because I didn't go.
But you didn't belong there.
Yo, because I granted, I didn't go to class. I did not go to class.
I clip that later.
You can clip it. But I failed because I didn't go. And
I'm gonna leave that part out. I'm gonna just put, I didn't belong here, but I failed.
I'm dead. So you had to take two. So it was like remedial English and writing. So I passed the writing one because I had no. Yes, I passed the writing one, but because I failed the reading class, because I didn't go to that one, even though I passed the test. This is what's CUNY's a scam. Anyways, even though I passed the test, because my attendance had more than 3 absences, they gave me a failing mark completely. Oh, my first 4 years of college was just disastrous.
First 4.
Yeah. Listen, let me tell you, young kids. Okay.
I just want to say we still can't see you.
Oh. My camera not even on. Oh, it's not plugged in. I'm like, it's not. Okay, hold on. This is why I need remedial classes, apparently. But all right, so let's see if the camera comes on today.
Watch us see like a boob.
Mind you, I look crazy. I forgot to braid the other side. Anyways, this is not helping my case. No. Yo. Okay. This is clearly a clippable moment. I fucking hate the internet. All right. So, hold on.
Oh, fucking stomach!
Yo, please. Hold on.
It just went on voice. It just
Oh, my stomach hurt. I feel like I just did an ab workout.
Okay. All right. I deadass forgot I was in the middle of braiding my Yo, this shit does not help my case.
Real.
This does not help my case, but
at all.
Listen, if you planning on going to college, for my young 18-year-olds that may see this, if you don't feel like you're ready, take a break. Absolutely take a break. If your mentor is not there, take the break. Because I definitely went to school for 4 years, and by my 3rd year, I only had a few credits, and I was like, fuck this, and dropped out.
What is a few? How many is a few?
I had like 70.
Okay, that's not bad.
I had like 70. But my point is, by the time I got to my senior year, it didn't transfer to my major.
Yo, your struggle was real.
So yeah.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
No, because literally, I was out here snapping about this remedial class, and then Jesus! Oh my god!
Yeah.
This is one of those moments that, like, if it's on TikTok, my life is ruined. Please don't put that.
So this was just compounded regret. Just regret.
Right now, I have new regrets in the middle of explaining a regret. Somebody else, please.
Oh, okay. Oh my god.
I regret to inform you. I'm gonna make a clip out of it now. I'm kidding.
Oh shit. My life. Nah, that was too funny. What's crazy is niggas would think this is a skit, and it's not. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my Jesus.
We just run C down the chat because that whole
Oh god.
Like that whole thing definitely.
Kuchiki breaks out. His forehead is glistening right now.
Yo, Kuchiki is weak. Oh my god. Oh, my fucking stomach.
Kuchiki is unavailable right now.
Your
Oh my
regret,
god.
because I don't even know when your regret landed. Was it the not
It started off with not going to college.
not going away
Did it
from
seem to transform into not taking it seriously? Not going to the classes, the remedial classes.
and not taking year off before. There was like 4 regrets
Then he
in
was
there.
turning on the camera. When
It just snowballed. It just.
That's the show. That's gonna be the show. I can't.
Really, I should have ended the regret story.
No one said anything else to get ourselves together.
Oh shit. Oh my god.
Goodness, that was a roller coaster ride.
It was a time. It was
That was.
That was a time.
Whew.
Yo, what's crazy is that was all real life. It was not planned.
Unscripted.
Notice
Oh,
Kuchiki
man.
wiped his forehead.
Whew.
Okay.
All right.
I'm fucking sweating.
Oh goodness.
Okay. Alright. Moving away from Ajax.
Ajax need a minute.
Anybody else with regrets? Do you have something that you're both that you regret and are grateful for? Is it possible to feel both?
Wait, what am I grateful for? Or wait, what?
No. The question is there something you regret? That's the first question. Would you go back and change it? And then the second question is, if you regret something, is it possible to regret not doing a thing, but also be grateful that you didn't do that thing? Is it possible to feel both for the one thing?
Chicky is still done.
Yo.
Yo. Yo. Cheeky,
I
come
just
back.
left my camera on fucking with y'all. This damn concussion, I done forgot. I didn't braid the other side of my head.
It's okay, because we love you. All right, unmute Kujiki. Tell us about your regrets.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel I can't do it.
All right, Kelby, you go, because I ain't got nothing.
Okay, so I feel like one of my regrets is I didn't get to do study abroad when I was in college because there was so much going on. I was one of those kids, like I did great in high school, you know, classes were easy for me. I didn't even spend much time on homework. I could do homework 5 minutes before class and it'd be fine. It was not a challenge for me. There was like, you know, and that was school, you know. Everyone just assumed I would do well. And then I got into all my colleges. I already mentioned how I regret not going to an all-black college. But anyway, so I get into college and everyone there is as smart as I am. And the work happens and I'm thinking, because I didn't know who I was as a student. So I'm thinking I can do homework like I've always done. Wait till 5 minutes are left, do the homework and it's done. College was like, no, that's not how that works. You got to put in time, you got to schedule time to sit down and do it. And it does take an hour or two to get it done. But I had always been this way. So I resisted trying to take the time to do it. And then when it got overwhelming, I didn't want to ask anyone for help because how did that look? The girl who's smart and can do everything asking for help. So it took until I was in my junior year and I had to speak to the dean because I was just not doing well. I had only taken intro classes up until that point, and it was like I had changed my major like 3 different times. And they were like, listen, you have 2 options. You can either take a semester off, or you can continue how you are, and then you will lose availability of your financial aid because your grades are going down. They're going down too low that you won't be eligible for financial aid. So I was like, okay, I'll take the semester off. So I took the semester off, went to school at City College to take some classes there. That wasn't the semester I met you. It was the semester before that. Took that to try to wrap my mind around, realized I was depressed, realized I didn't know how I like to learn, what were my learning strategies, because I'd never had to implement any. So I kind of had to teach myself what works for me. So I struggled a little bit. I was like, was it index cards? Is it using a computer? Is it this? Is it that? Do I need to write it out? Do I need to listen to it? And I experimented a lot. But once I finally got my groove, then I was like, okay, there's something here. And then the next semester, I took another course. That's where I met Nerd for the first time, and we took our class together. And unlike Ajax's story, I agree, you go there to get stuff done and go home, but I feel like we went through some struggle with our group project, which brought us together. It started the friendship that has lasted till now. But then I came back, and by the time I had gotten all that together, it was just like, now I'm about to go into my senior year. I can't do study abroad because, one, I still have to get my grades up, and I managed to get them up enough, as much as you can with only a year left, but it just wasn't enough to go to study abroad. And I always regretted that, because what other time in your life besides studying abroad are you able to go to another country for 3 months at a time and your main job is to be a student? Outside of that and doing the schoolwork, you can explore where you are, because when you think now, sorry, I don't know what's happening with my system, but when you think about adult vacations now, the most you can do is 2 weeks, and you're exhausted half the time before you even get there because work has been an ass right before you leave, and then you come back and it feels like you didn't get a chance to explore at a decent pace. So I was like, that's the time to be able to go to like somewhere and be there for 3 months and see everything, every nook and cranny, every mom and pop shop, really soak it in. You don't get to do that as an adult, because what job is giving you 3-4 months to go somewhere and explore?
Being a teacher.
Damn.
You get to go anywhere you want for 3 to 4. Well, yes, summer break.
Like, yeah,
They got 2 months off.
Get the entire summer off.
Yeah, but you don't.
And then we get
it for a year.
sabbatical, so we get the school year off.
Yeah, but
It's not this. That's
It's not
still
the same
different,
thing.
though. That's still
Because
different.
you study abroad, you get it on the school's time. The school is sending you, they got a place for you to stay. Like, you don't have to do as much planning and preparation.
That wasn't your
and
question. You
planning.
said, what job is giving you the time off? That's the job that gives you the time off. So long as you're not a 12-month employee. Now, if you're a 12-month employee, then you fucked. But if you're not a 12-month employee, then you can make it work.
Yeah, that's the regret, is that I didn't get to do it like that. Because now I visit countries and it feels like I have, by the time I leave, I haven't really, I've gone to all the touristy spots, but I can't say I like got to know the city that I'm in. So that's my
That's
biggest
fair.
regret.
But you,
Just like to preface, we are talking about American jobs because, as we know, there are a lot of European countries where they literally force you off of work for months at a time.
yeah, and that's beautiful.
Might be my one true regret. It's just being born. No, to answer your earlier question, Calva, I think I honestly would not turn back the hands of time because of the things that I have regrets about. I'm just like, okay, I regret that things didn't turn out this way, but I'm still grateful for the life that I had. Like, I don't think that I would actually change anything in reality, because I'm like, this is the path that I'm on, and I'm just grateful to still have life. But I feel like the one thing, I think the biggest like regret that I would say is just because it kind of ties into what I think is the way that like my personality developed, the way that I like either excelled in class and excelled in friendships and relationships, or I didn't. And I feel like that has to do with the fact that I like didn't really there was definitely an earlier age where I just stopped expressing myself completely, which probably had a lot to do with blossoming sexuality and identity and all that stuff. And I just started to shut down. And I feel like if I hadn't been a kid that had like shut down, then I might have tried harder to excel at certain parts in life. Because like everybody here, like especially like when it comes to like academics, like I actually really enjoyed school and excelled at it up until I got to high school. And by the time I got to high school, I was in full-blown depression and very nihilistic about life. And honestly, I don't know how I got through 9th and 10th grade, because I was not in class. Like, I always tell the story, like my first progress report at Bard, I got 1A in science class, and then the rest was just Fs, because I just did not give a fuck about any other class. And I feel like if I had been able to, like, I don't want to say been able to, because I'm not placing the blame on any one singular thing, but like if I had just been a person who was more comfortable expressing myself, like at that age, which is a hard thing to do, it's not easy for everybody, especially when you're othered or being othered. I feel like I would have had the confidence to just excel in whatever things that I want to do, and that would have had a domino effect. Certainly would have had a domino effect. I look back at like college and I'm like, why the hell was I going to a school that specialized in Broadway and musical theater? Why was I going there for video production and broadcast journalism? It made no sense to me. And sometimes I'm like, was that my subconscious saying like, no, this is what you want to do. You want to like be in the arts. You want to express yourself in this way. But it's one of those things where it's like I wouldn't actually change anything about. Like I'm grateful for the path that I've had, but I think in terms of regrets, there are definitely certain things where I look back and I'm like, I can see where things would have gone differently had I chosen a different path. And I feel like for me that started very early on and just had like a domino effect.
So you can feel both at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
That's dope.
Yeah,
that's dope. That's dope. If there's one thing you could say to your old self, your younger self, what would you say? Given
like
that you are
self talking to younger self?
Yes. Given that what you just said, I could see how it would have gone differently, but I am grateful for where I am right now. Then what would you say to your younger self? If it's not to change it, what would you say?
Hi, Callie. I saw her hop on the couch.
Yeah. Like it's just enough for her in the.
Just enough.
Not her giving me the side eye when she sees that.
She was like, they was talking to me.
I think for me in particular, like without trying to change anything, I would just, what I still have to do now, and one of the things I learned in therapy is like, it's not only is it okay to talk to yourself, but it's okay to talk to the past versions of yourself. And one of the things that I still do for little Willie is let him know, like, it's gonna be okay. Really? It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And kind of like reassuring, like, even if you feel like nobody's got you, I got you. So.
I think what I would tell my younger self is, you're not weird, you're autistic. Like, you're fine. You're just autistic. Your process different. That's all.
Do you regret not being able to not having someone recognize that or speak to that earlier in your childhood? No? Okay.
No, because I think I learned how to do stuff on my own. I feel like if you told me that I was autistic then I would have been taught how to manage instead of learning how to manage. Like everything about how I managed, how I learned to survive is my own learning process. Like I didn't know that I was masking. I just did it. And I feel like my own instincts kicked in for myself. And I feel like the more information I would have been given at a young age, the more I would have been spoon-fed answers instead of figuring out the puzzle that is my life for myself. So I like the fact that I didn't know. I don't really care for the way I was treated because I didn't know, but I like how I adapted because I didn't know.
Fair point. Fair point. Okay. Ajax.
Is it safe? Is it safe?
Well, now that my other side of my head is down, you know. I don't know.
Look at the camera.
No, it still look crazy. It's giving George Jefferson.
It's all right. I'm serving Wheezy over here.
Nah, because the sides, I gotta cut the sides down, and my new clip is coming
edges, so
I can't. Not no edges. Tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no hair. No, I'm sorry.
Nah, I'm screaming.
It
Yo.
was right there.
Nah, that's funny.
I had to. It was right there.
Real.
every
What
time
would
I
I say to the younger me?
I don't even remember the question now.
what would you say to your younger self?
Yes, Jax. What would you say to little Jax?
I don't know. I don't
Tell that
know.
motherfucker to take school seriously.
I did take school seriously. I graduated honors. And my bachelor's has honors on it. I've always taken school seriously. I just didn't want to be at that school. Like if I was at a school that I wanted
said
to be
always. We got the receipts where you said that GPA was a point.
I know what the GPA wasn't. That wasn't due to merit. That was due to me not showing up.
Right. That was due to you not taking it seriously.
I want to be there.
Right.
Like that's why would I be serious about something I don't want to be?
Right, but that's not the point. The point is you weren't serious. Why you weren't serious is not what we're talking about.
Oh, I guess. I mean, well, I wouldn't have went to college straight out of high school. I only went because my mom was like, it's either you go to school or you get a job. Or you got to leave the house when I leave the house and come back when I come back. Bitch. Now, granted, I could have went to my friend's house because, you know, she was going to be home. But I was like, nah, I want to be in my own fucking house. So, fuck it. I'll go to school.
That's fair.
I don't know. What would I say to younger self?
Bitcoin.
Maybe take a break, because that's what you said you also regretted, that you didn't take a break.
I guess.
Why do you so disgusted by that?
And get Bitcoin?
I don't know.
Is that what you really want to tell your younger self? Get some Bitcoin?
Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't even. It's years later now. There's no point. But I don't know. I don't think I would tell anything to younger me because all my experiences is why I'm where I am now. Like I had Nickelodeon telling me it gets better. So I wouldn't really tell myself that. They definitely fucking lied. No, they didn't. because I went through a stage of like probably going to ruin my life. Like I probably would have been on a park bench somewhere with a missing tooth.
Not crazy.
Yo, because I know niggas I grew up with that have no teeth, and we the same age. But
That's real.
I don't know. Maybe not trying to fit in, because I tried to fit in middle school, and like when I got to high school, I was like, bitch, you could still be a cool kid and be on honor roll. Fuck is you talking about? So yeah. And then I realized all the cool kids fucked with me because I was just like a fucking class clown. Just like them. I just wasn't failing or going to summer school. But, you know, because, yeah, I threw out all my Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon cards because I was like, you know what? I want to be like the girls. Let me try to be like the girls. And I'm
not being Kushiki making the same face. Like, you did what?
Because you threw them out, or you just...
I threw them out. And I had some hitters. Like, I really wouldn't be broke right now.
I'm so sorry.
I threw mine out.
It's bad. It's bad. Yeah.
I had mine thrown out. That's a painful thing.
Am I the only one who kept their cards?
You didn't have a parent toss them out, so.
Yeah, my cousin tossed all my childhood stuff out during the move. From
crazy.
Yeah, I had a binder full.
The binders, oh my god, the binders.
Yeah, and I had a second binder of like the cards I won through Pokemon battles. Like it was like a separate binder for niggas that lost their good shit.
Yeah,
but yeah, I had a few Charizards. Yeah, yeah. Because someone ended up winning like my hologram, Blastoids, and something else. And I was like, listen, I'll put my whole binder up. Battle me again. And I got half their deck. But, you know.
Did you get your Blastoids back?
Yeah. I got my Blastoids back and half their deck. Because they was like, nah, if you're going to put your binder up, I'll put up half my deck. I said, you sure? They was like, if I beat you once. I was like, all right. Let's do this. And I guess he didn't shuffle his deck right, because I came out strong.
But, came out swinging.
I guess it would be like try not to fit in. That's about it.
That's fair.
Because all the friends that I made that I didn't try to fit in with were all successful. Like literally all of us. Except for one. I don't know. We don't know where he is. But the rest of us were all successful. Like we literally lost contact with him. Like no one knows if he became a woman, if he's a drag queen. Like we don't know. We really don't know.
Don't have social media? None of that?
No one has ever found. Like we all hung out when we were 21 or something like that. And then he had told us like, yeah, you know, I've been doing drag and some. We was like, oh, okay, cool. And then like after that, never heard from him again. Damn. Yeah. We're all successful. One is a businessman, I think, in Hong Kong. One is a content creator. One works for Tesla. And I'm still living. But I mean, we're successful in the sense of like compared to the kids that we thought was gonna be like, you know, the basketball stars and shit.
I think for me, there's only two things I would say to my younger self. One, stick with therapy. Stick to it. And then two, keep doing sports behind your parents' back. Don't let them take you out of sports. That's the only thing. They took me out of every sport I entered. I was on track. My mom took me out because she didn't like how late I came from track practice. Mind you, that was like 5:30 p.m. But she didn't like that, so she took me out of that. Tennis, they took me out of because they thought with my headaches, I might miss the ball flying at my face. So they took me out of that. And I was good. And they took me out. And I was upset about that. But that's the only advice I would give to my old self. The rest of it, it's like, yeah, there's regret, but at the same time, I can see why it's better the way it turned out. Because, like with the study abroad thing, yeah, but what money did I have at that age? So, yeah, I'd been in that country for 3 months, but where am I going? What am I doing? Nothing. Because I'm 18, I'm brokey broke. I mean, I'm brokey broke now, but it's a different brokey broke entirely. You know? At least now when I travel, I got money to do something. So, there's that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I like to think that there are a bunch of like alternate realities where like the choices we didn't make, we actually did make in those, and you know, those pathways have just branched off. A whole multiverse. We a whole multiverse out here.
Yeah, I like that.
Thriving. I'm just putting it out there. We thriving.
I like to think that we're currently thriving as well, though, because there's, to your point, in that multiverse, there's probably a version of us that's not doing too hot, and I'd like to think that this version of us, we're the better half.
We bad.
We're the antithesis of that. So,
yeah.
Though y'all got some regrets, I'd like to think that the path that you chose led us to this point, and is part of the reason why our bond is as strong as it is, because it made you who you are.
Period.
Unless of course you're Jax, he's just a natural born asshole, you know.
I'm dead. What happened?
Ah!
What was that? I missed
Absolutely nothing. Continue, Cowboy.
it. Wow. Repeat what you said.
I didn't say anything. Cowboy was going to the next question.
Okay, so now we've talked about our individual regrets and how we feel about them. What about, like, in terms of the people around you or things you observe? What do you feel like, you know what, I could have done without knowing that or seeing that? I regret being exposed to someone else's. And like, is there any people or things currently that's outside of yourself that you regret? Because we just talked about things that we possibly regret that we did or we experienced in our past. What about, I don't know, this makes me sound like an asshole. Like, are there people in your life you regret meeting? Sounds like an asshole question. I
mean, no, because for me, it feels like I learned something. Like, even if I would be like, oh, Mr. Broke Ass, I still learn what I don't like in a person.
Mm-hmm.
So, no.
There's nobody that I regret meeting. I don't really regret. I just wish that I had more time to get to know people. So like, for example, our friend who passed away, like, I'm looking back on all these Facebook memories, and it's like I was there for some of it, but a lot of it I just did not. I wasn't present.
That's fair.
And I wish that I would have had more time to get to build an actual, like, deep friendship with that person. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Jax?
There's a few people I regret meeting.
Of course.
Absolutely. I won't say no names,
hesitation.
but there's a few people.
Do we know any of them?
You know, one of them. But there's a few
Why
people
do
I
you regret
meeting.
knowing me?
I'm screaming. Self-centered much?
You said we knew him. Notice how she didn't answer the question.
I can't even see what he's doing.
Not answering answer the question. That's what she's doing.
But yeah, I do regret meeting a couple people in my life.
Okay.
Why? What did they?
Because they ain't shit.
I was about to say, how egregious was the impact? Like, did it go beyond you? Did it spill over into like your personal life outside of just you?
It was everybody. Everybody.
Okay.
You feel like there's. Sorry. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Gabo, because I can ask it after.
I wasn't asking a question, so you go ahead.
No. I was gonna say I can ask this question after. Like, it's not just specific to Jax.
Oh, I think for me, the only person I regret is my ex best friend. She violated in a way that dealt with my personal family stuff. And then I think for me, what makes me regret her is, but I also learned from it in the way that Nerd was talking about, is that it wasn't necessarily just the betrayal, it was how she acted after it. You know, it's like, even if you thought you were coming from a place of doing something well, her behavior told me that you did this with ill intentions, and you received it in a very vindictive way, because a lot of the respect that we used to have communicating was gone. Like, if I get into an argument with any of y'all, certain things are never going to come out of my mouth. I'm never going to disrespect you in the disagreement, because despite disagreeing, there's still love there, there's still respect there. We could decide we're not talking, and I'm still not gonna come out sideways out of my mouth, because, you know what I mean? And it was just like, the moment she had an opportunity, all the respect was gone, which told me it was never there to begin with. But what I also learned from that is that you gotta watch you gotta watch for the signals with how they interact with every and anybody. You can't just rely on how they interact with you. And that was the lesson I had to learn, because she had never done what she had done to me before. But when I thought back and I'm like, yo, how did I miss this? I'm like, wait, the signals were all there for how she interacted with other people on a smaller scale. And I was like, when you look at it that way, it was like, I'm not shocked. I was just waiting my turn.
Damn.
I'm just waiting my turn. But yeah, that's what told me she's the only one I regret. Everyone else is like, you know, whatever. You know, I learned valuable lessons, even the terrible men. But yeah.
The menses. No, you literally kind of answered the question I was going to ask, which was like, even though you regret meeting those people, do you feel like you learned a lesson, or do you feel like you gained in some way?
I learned, but I feel like since then I've also met other people that would have taught me the same lesson without having to deal, because there was a lot of bullshit I had to deal with being her friend. Like, she was very self-centered, and unable to see outside of herself. And so there was a lot of stuff that had to be compensated for, and I'm just like, that took a lot of energy out of me, which is why, because I'm like, the one lesson I learned from her, I could have learned from someone else without all the baggage, which is why there's regret still there. But yeah.
Can I ask a bonus question that kind of ties into it?
Of course.
Questions.
I was thinking about this, like, going back to the whole America thing, like, considering that, like, well, I guess the question is, do you guys regret Trump becoming president? Because on the one hand, I'm gonna say I can understand how people would, but I'm happy that it happened, because I feel like so many, the blinds have been taken off, like, across the board. I don't know how to expand on that. Maybe you guys can.
I would arguably say. Oh, go ahead. I talked enough. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I actually saw Trevor Noah kind of address this just a bit, where somebody had asked him what was the difference between racism here and racism where he's from, and he was saying racism where he's from is a lot more blatant, where his government is like, you can't go here because you're black, where here it's very subversive, where it's like, You just can't go here. But you don't know why you can't go here, but you can't go here. So it's like, I want to go there, but I won't give you a loan for you to go there, but I won't tell you it's because of your skin color. So it's kind of like you got to figure out the racism. And I feel like with Trump as becoming president, we kind of made it more like South African racism, where it was kind of like, it's blatant. You can't go here because you're black. And I liked that because it was a little bit more refreshing, and it didn't feel like I was being gaslit about the things that were happening to me. It was more like, haha, I am not going crazy. I now understand, like everyone else can see the things that I am seeing now. I felt like everyone else that was telling me it's all in your head, like the racism's not here in America anymore. Now they all saw that it is still alive and well. And that's what I think his presidency did for us. Did he do a good job? Of course not. But he did that.
What I will say is I appreciate his presidency because it highlighted government and how it works and all the ways in which it can stretch in ways that I don't think the general public really has ever had to think about. I've always said, like, countries where there is political turmoil, once it settles, you're going to find it hard for someone to control that population because they know what's on the line. They know what is at risk if they have a certain leader in place. Unfortunately, a lot of first world countries haven't had to struggle to that extent. So it makes it easier for them to ignore how politics works. It makes them easier to ignore the fact that they don't fully understand the president doesn't control everything. Low-key Congress does. It makes it easier to ignore those nuances and not fully understand how everything is going to go down a slippery slope, because when you've never been down that slippery slope, when you've never been in the trenches of it, you don't know how dangerous it is when the first step towards that is taken. Whereas people who've had to starve because they've been led under dictatorship, they know what it means. So the moment someone's even stepping in that direction, they're cutting it off and they're rallying against it because they know what the bottom looks like. A lot of American society before Trump didn't know what the bottom could even potentially look like. And I feel like his presidency put all that ridiculousness up front and was like, oh, you think that can't happen? You think we're too elite for that to happen? Watch. We never thought people could march against the Capitol. We never thought that could be a thing. And then it happened live with camera footage. So you can never say that again. Everything is on the table. It's always been on the table. But I don't think the general public realized to what extent until he came. And I don't think they realized how much the president can fuck with checks and balances until he came. Because a lot of people followed the tradition of what's supposed to be done. And he was like, I get that it's tradition, but technically based on our outdated laws, I don't have to do that. You could be mad about it, but I don't got to do it. And he didn't. And so I appreciate that because it made a lot more people see the value of voting. I can't tell you how many times I've heard someone be like, well, I got to vote. It's not like my vote matters. After Trump, some of those same people did a full flip. It was like, wait a minute, and I think after him was the most attention people paid to like the lower positions that you vote for. That was the most time people paid attention to who's going to be governor, who's going to be mayor. Before, no one really paid attention to those things. They paid attention to president, and you were lucky if they paid attention to senator or House of Representatives. But after him and realizing, okay, we need to flip Congress because this motherfucker's wild. And then realizing, well, you can't flip Congress without looking at who's below them as well. I feel like that train of thought came in after he came in and blew shit up. So, yeah. I cannot hear what you said.
I said Jax, and I didn't realize I was muted, so I was like Jax, and then I said has left the building.
I'm dead. I'm sorry. So the question was,
do you regret Trump becoming president in 2016?
Yes and no.
No, because she voted for him.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Season the chat for me.
Did I watch every day that he went live? Yes, because it was hilarious. But did I vote for him? No, I voted for Hillary, and I tried to stay up. I remember that day vividly. I was like, "Yeah, it was 12:00. They still was counting." I said, "All right, well, he ain't winning. I'm going to sleep." And 3 in the morning, I found out he won. I guess it just, him being president reverted the level of racism we have in the country. Like in the South, it was already like, granted they couldn't say it, but the black people knew, like, we don't go there. Like in the North, it's more like, oh, we'll travel somewhere in the northern state and then we'll go into an establishment. We'd be like, yeah, this is let's turn around, you know?
Go.
They won't blame. They'll come up to you all smiles, and it's like you can feel the like silence, and everyone turned around and looking to see a black just entered.
Black.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I was accustomed to the racism, to both versions of racism, like in the South and in the North. Like, we know when people are racist and they're not really saying it. Like that, I guess that's the gift of being up here. Like, we already know, like, oh, okay, you're just saying that to look good. It's politics. Got it. But like now it's like they're just straight up like they're saying the quiet part out loud again. Cause like it's not like we ain't been through this already. Like we had like a short, cute little 20 years of like, all right, everybody, let's chill out. No, and it brought up, to me, it brought up what everybody has said in the past, including myself. I was like, ignorance, it's what's keeping the Republican vote alive. It's not because they are intelligent. Not to say all of the Republicans aren't intelligent. Let me just put that out there. But like, it's really the uneducated Caucasian people. Like, that's who they pander to. Because the educated Caucasian people are like, listen, we need a Republican in that is not saying the quiet part out loud. Like, y'all fucking it up. Like, that's the problem. Like, DeSantis, I don't even know what his nationality is. I really don't believe he's like Aryan, but that's neither here nor there. But like, DeSantis is really out here going crazy, saying the quiet part out loud and doing and making laws, and it's like, you're really like bugging the fuck out. Like, if he really makes it to a point where it's like him versus another Democrat, I am truly scared. Like, for real. Like, if he is the last Republican to make it, to be against the Democratic candidate, I would, like, Trump, I was like, he's just a figurehead. He really don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like, the House is still semi-split. It's not going to be that bad. No, if he makes it, it's going to be horrendous. Like, that is the one time I would really be like, every day on social media, like, please make sure y'all go vote. Please make sure y'all register to vote. Please make sure that y'all registered Republican or Democrat, so when you do the preliminaries, it counts. Like, I will be going crazy because there's no way. But do I regret Trump becoming president? No, because I low-key feel like the country would have went even crazier if it was Hillary as the president. To me, I think it would have been more like of an almost civil war versus, I can't believe we let this dumb nigga become president. Like, that's my point of view, but
I mean, that has merit. It does. It has merit. I noticed she just completely disappeared from the public eye after that.
She was like, I'm done. I tried to help y'all. I'm over it. I hate y'all.
Like, I tried. This is too much. First I lost to a black man. Now I lost to this dummy. I'm done. I've exited.
Yeah, like for me, I know a lot of people don't really fuck with Bernie Sanders like that, but I think if it was Trump versus Sanders, I don't think Trump would have won.
He would not have won.
I think he only won because people were like, I don't know if a woman
Yeah.
or if Hillary
Which,
to,
mind
per
you,
se.
all the wars have been started by men.
Right, but this war would have been started by men because a woman became president. Like,
It would have been started by men.
again, like I feel like January 6th would have happened on inauguration day for her. I feel like it would have went real extreme real fast. Like I don't know how to. Yeah. Not to say that, a woman president, whatever race they are, but I just think at that point, like right following Obama, I don't know if those people would have been calm enough. Like, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, I think they would have been like, there's no way, first a black and now a woman. Like, it just would have went intense. Like, I really feel like they would have went left. So, yeah.
I will say if she was in office and the storming of the Capitol happened, I feel like they'd have been out, taken down a lot faster because Hillary ain't afraid to take nobody out.
Right. And it wasn't like he wasn't afraid. Like that's literally what the president's job is, to control the military. So he just was like, nope. Like that's literally, he just was like, nah. He was on a power trip.
The crazy part is he's still eligible to do another.
And this motherfucker has been indicted, but they got charges. Like black people can't even get a job at McDonald's if they have a fucking felony. Like, oh, you know what? That's a conversation for another time.
Oh man.
But it really makes me think, what is it about our laws that allows this to exist? Our laws are archaic. They need to be revised. I'm just saying. We got
I just think there should be an age limit also.
But you couldn't prove it. You couldn't prove Nixon was a criminal. Now we just be having them with blatant criminal records as president. Got a whole rap sheet, but it's the president.
Crazy.
And what's crazy is his supporters still support him, and he was scamming on his own supporters. Like, I need to have that level of power, and people support me with that level of delusion. Because what?
I guess that's why him and Kanye make such good friends.
Listen, the boy said support my campaign. Then at the bottom it said only 1% going to the. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's crazy. It is crazy. It's crazy.
Well, that was an interesting way to end the episode about political threats and what we are grateful for. This has been a great episode. Definitely a lot of life, in particular of this episode.
I have no idea what you're saying. It is mad echo. What?
Not sure what to do about that.
I think it might be coming from Jax. I was getting it, and then I just muted Jax's thing.
Okay. But we got 15 clips of one section of this episode, courtesy
All
of
the
Jax.
clips we can't use because Jack said not to embarrass us.
So, but yeah, it's a great episode about the facts. The general consensus I'm getting is that, yeah, there are regrets, but wouldn't change a thing because life is lifing, and we did fairly well for ourselves, which, is a higher note to end on. And with that, let's find somebody to rate out to.
Yes, I'm looking for that right now. Please hold. As we vibe out to the musical stylings of whatever is playing for us. Shout out to T-Pain's Pizzle Pack. It always gives us these beautiful, beautiful vibes. We love to see it. Alright. So we got my boy Lyrics on the green side playing some Warzone. So we're gonna host out to that on the green side. And then we got my boy Fexy on the perp side. I don't know what Fexy is doing. Fexy, what you doing? Five Nights at Freddy's, whatever that is. So thanks for hanging out with us, party people. We'll be back next week. Okay, thanks. Bye.